Ravenwood.
What?
Ravenwood. It's back, boys.
Ravenwood.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. That's the one.
Yep.
That's the one.
Yep, that's the one. That's the one.
I love that it goes all dark too. It's so pretty.
Yeah, it's cool.
Me too.
Such It's
Happy
fun.
New Year.
All right.
Happy New Year.
Aw, chat's so sweet.
Chat's so sweet. Where's the chat?
The freak show in chat said, "I'm so happy to see you guys again."
Aw.
We're so happy to see you again.
Wow.
We're also hearts.
Everett, it was so sad to like just be kind of witnessing your guys' argument, and I kept looking at the chat, and everyone's just like,
I know. I felt so bad. I was like,
I can't
We're
remember
happy.
who it
We're
was.
good.
Someone in chat had said that they rolled a dice like as a trauma roll before the session started, and they got a 20. So they were like, well, that works.
Yeah, that's a wild thing to do, and they're right.
Yeah, 20 on the drama.
Not 20 on the drama. All right.
The drama.
All right.
Also, I think I need to put.
Hi.
Hi, Sadie.
Sorry,
Sadie.
Sadie.
You got it, girl.
Baby
You're doing such a great job.
Sadie lady.
The baby.
Sadie.
Are we doing
Jim walked into the world.
Oh, she's walking into the world.
Are we doing a nighttime, a dream,
not
or
a boy?
Oh, dream. Nighttime. Sleep. Sleep.
I go to sleep.
Want to go
now.
to dinner with me?
You dinner with
You dinner me?
Just kidding.
Dinner. Yummy
I need a
dinner.
fucking
dinner.
drop.
Oh,
yeah.
nice.
That's what I need right now. That's what I need. My throat is so tight.
Echinacea.
I'm putting my AirPod in now so that when I'm talking to Calypso, it don't go away.
That is so real.
Yes. Whoa.
There he goes. There's our boy.
There it goes.
There's our boy.
So I do want to give a little
Here he
synopsis.
There he is.
And I still went away. For why?
For why?
Or what you
Aria,
like.
you had said there was something.
Oh, that's me.
You wanted really quick, or not really.
Oh no!
Either
It
or.
was just a small thing
For
before
later, I think.
Oh, yeah.
later for bed. That was it.
Oh yeah, that's where we're.
It was
at,
just a
so-
small thing with. Oh, okay. Do you want me to go first?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
Fuck, I don't even remember what it is now. Okay. No, wait, I do. Aria, I think when she was, I was like, where's my brain?
We all lost it in the ocean.
We did.
Yeah.
I think upon
The fish.
getting back, Aria is like, she is freezing cold. She is so
Fair.
cold. So cold. I feel like she's kind of focusing on like that like feeling when like your hands go numb and like your feet and like you feel that like pins and needles because you're so cold, and especially when you're wet too, it's so bad. But I think she's kind of like focusing on it a little bit, and I imagine her kind of like holding Luna's hand the whole time, so they got back on the ship.
Yeah. Solar stays like very close to you, like doesn't move your side. They also don't bring anything up about the feathers or anything like that. They're like, that's something for the morning. I'm not even gonna touch that.
Funny. And so Aria, I think it's just your verbiage is funny.
Yeah. Well,
I'm not even gonna
I
touch
didn't
that.
say that.
Goofy.
No. Aria. Anyway, so goes up ship. I think she's kind of like holding on to their hand. Do you want to share the room again with me?
Yes.
Okay. Can I ask one thing first?
Yeah. They're just looking at you.
What's your favorite flower?
They like think for a moment. They're like, I don't think I've ever really decided. I like tiger lilies.
Anyway, wow. I can see when you said that.
Huh? What?
It It's just really, just look, technically, are really pretty. It makes
Me
me really
too.
emotional for a second.
Oh, that's real.
Minor roses.
Suits you.
Okay, take me to bed now. I'm done. Let's go.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they just immediately just like take your hand and they lead you to that room.
Thank you.
They're like, let's go. And as they're like leading, they're like, by the way, you look really good in black. And then they keep leading you.
Hopefully it won't be like this for long.
She's like, hopefully you will. Here we go.
You're free, and I love it.
Yep. Listen,
Yep.
they're both monster fuckers for reasons I will not divulge.
They are.
Anywho. I have kind of a little parallel that I think is really cinematic in regards to Arya and Wit.
What?
As you do both kind of eventually go to sleep tonight. And I imagine Arthur's kind of can feel just like that you're a little, not distraught, but a little like...
She should feel it because
Yeah.
the first thing he did was walk over them, slump, and like fall in between them.
Oh, fair. Okay, yep.
So maybe they should feel that.
Yeah, definitely. So for your evening, for the most part, Arthros kind of like lets you lay like in her lap, and she kind of just like plays with your hair, while Silas is just like in your face with his coloring book. Like he's like, what colors do you think I should do that? Like he's like showing you. He's like, I don't have.
Did he find colors?
He's like, no, I don't have the colors yet, but I'm just pre-planning.
Oh.
He's like, starts flipping through.
I mean, that one.
He's gonna like make a little key with like the
Yeah,
numbers by the
100%.
color, so he
It's-
can like
it's paint
write
by
what
numbers.
numbers.
Paint by
Oh my
numbers.
I have like
Oh.
a spare like pen or pencil, and like he can.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
mark
what
it
he's
up.
doing. I love paint by numbers. That's just fun. I used to do that all the
It
time. As
would
a
look
kid.
great over there. You know, when we get it, we'll get it at some point.
He's like,
Add it to the list.
Yeah. He writes. And I imagine that's kind of how your night goes, just kind of in their company, which is very
All he
comforting.
needed.
Yeah. With Arthur's just behind you, just like petting your hair very comfortingly, and Silas just like talking your ear off, basically.
Yes.
And
good
Arya, you go to bed with Solar.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Can't
They
wait to
warm
draw-
up
Can't wait to draw
somehow.
that fan art.
Arya needs to be warmed. Yes.
Yeah. Feathers galore. But I will say, my little parallel for you both is, as you both fall asleep tonight, Wit, I imagine you kind of imagine the Red Oak Inn. And you imagine that space once more, and you leave that little door open with the snow kind of barreling past outside, and the darkness outside, and that little glow of lantern light. And Arya, I imagine, when you kind of wake in your slumber, you see the seamstress shop, your mother's shop, and you see things a bit awry, more than usual. All the fabric that is hanging where it usually hangs is black, just entirely black. And there is stop, not Kai Arlo in the front.
Oh,
You could
333.
you did that.
You did
You
that.
did that to us.
And I
You did that to
imagine
yourself,
there's
bud.
little ink pots like kind of spilled over again, and like thimbles kind of in array. Just the place looks a little disarray, like how your mind probably feels. And both of you, and here's the both of you technically are both in Drift Hollow. You're in these little places in your minds as you kind of go to sleep. And Arya, I imagine you wait for the knock at the door. And Wit, I imagine you wait for Ven to walk on through. But she doesn't. She doesn't walk through. She doesn't knock on your door, Arya. You get no visitors. You are simply alone, the both of you, in your little homes in your mind, as you fall into unconsciousness tonight.
Gotta say, that's not comforting.
Arya,
Oh,
like,
it's so
falls
cool the way that
asleep.
you both have the
Yeah.
doors open in
Yeah.
the same spot.
You're both
Dude.
waiting.
Can we go across the street and hang out?
That's what I was
Your
thinking.
mind,
That's
come
what I was
over.
thinking. That's what I was thinking.
You can.
That'd be
You wanna
adorable.
go
To my place or your place?
I mean, if I looked out, would I like see a door? I mean, they're mine, so I don't know if that would translate. they are across the street.
You'd probably see like that shop, but not really have the ability to like go there.
Fair.
You know, but it'd be like a part of your mind. A part
Thinking
of your
about
memory.
you.
I'm thinking about you.
Aw. I just
Arya's
I really
so
like
pretty
I really
downstairs.
like that parallel. I really like that parallel.
Arya
For
makes a
aesthetic
cup of
sake.
tea and leaves it out for her.
A cup of ale in this on this like in the bar at school.
Yep.
next to him.
No!
And Arya just falls asleep in the chair.
Fucking
Down there.
I
hell!
think like Wit just slumps over and like passes out.
They're just sad.
Dude, the parallels. We're just
You made it worse. Great.
we're just sad.
Oh yeah, you want me to make it even worse? I'll keep going. No, just kidding.
Yeah. I don't want to be.
I mean,
I'm
be
gonna
my
stop
guest. Be my
That's all I
guest.
got.
Honestly.
At
And with
capacity.
that, Arlo.
Oh,
Um,
hey.
Hi. Do you do anything specific? Do you drag Dimitrioff at all, or do you just kind of be in your head, in your mind?
I dragged Dimitrioff to a room to then be in.
Fair. He simply holds you. He just holds you, and he knows
Yeah.
that nothing more needs to come of it. He just holds you and lets you lay there.
Cool.
And I imagine he kind of just like strokes at your hair, strokes at like your shoulders, just like every inch of you that he can reach from the way that he's laying. And I imagine like you're kind of laying like your head on his chest, but like on
Yeah, I
his
feel like
lap,
he
you know?
would be like, no, I feel like I think he would be like, you can't really, like kind of against like the wall like this or whatever.
That's
pillows or
exactly
whatever.
how I was picturing.
And then
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
yeah.
be like if he was this way, I would be
yeah,
like
yeah.
like with like
Yes,
you know,
yes,
you
that's
know
exactly
what I'm talking
that's
about.
exactly what I was thinking. That's exactly
You
what I
like
was thinking.
monkeyed
thinking.
onto him.
Because I was
And that's small.
imagining his like hands going through your hair and then like going on your torso and like
So me and
stroking
you.
your torso. Yeah.
Me and you were like right
And
here.
I think he lets his finger kind of just like stroke up and down the little sternum scar too a couple times before he just like starts like touching the rest
Ow.
of you. Yeah. And he just kind of lets you drift off. And I imagine just holds you and strokes you until you eventually do manage to drift off. Like he is not sleeping, he's not stopping until you do. And Arlo. Let me get my cough out.
Yeah, you go ahead. Let me get my panic
I
out.
can't stop.
Okay. I don't even know what I'm gonna say. I don't even know what I'm gonna say this. I don't even know.
Okay. You've had a rough day. You all have.
Yeah.
Each and every one of you has had a rough day. Arla,
Uh-huh.
as you finally drift off into the world of deep slumber,
Right.
it is with bated breath and something anxious resting in your chest. And finding Tobias's body was surely unexpected, but the one relieving factor of the day was knowing that Ulrich's head is far from his body.
Yeah.
And the pain sticks, however, and the sharp knowledge of what he did remains, as well as the pain he caused, but you try to push such things aside as you fall into unconsciousness tonight, trying to get images of a unicorn tattoo out of your mind. And there's a different fear that awaits you in your dreams as they surface. When you're opening your eyes next, Arlo, it is to 𝐄𝐩𝐢rn, the hallway once more, and a long path of doors to the left and the right with no end in sight, the words good and bad still etched into the wood. And this time, Calypso stands in front of you, at the foot of the hall. Her hair is down, long and slightly wavy at the ends, and she wears the white gown she always does, looking childlike and small. And she watches you wake in your head, your eyes widening. And she kind of just looks at you, kind of tilts her head to the side and watches you carefully as she stands in the middle of that long, just like decadent hallway with doors on either side. And they still say good and bad. And she just very carefully this time says, "Hello, Arlo."
Hello, you.
She actually like smiles a bit at that. She's like, "I said hello this time. I forgot last time. It was rude of me."
It's appreciated. I also said hello as well. So we did a little back and forth.
Speaking of back and forth, I told Kai what you said.
Oh, thank you. Did he respond to anything?
No, I'm not sure he quite understood. I still did it though. Just for you.
Thank you. That means a lot, actually.
Do you want to open another door tonight?
Yeah, I do. I've been missing Rain a lot lately.
Have you?
Yeah. Feel like I haven't seen him forever. Do you know if he's okay?
Yes. He is okay. I am taking care of him. I always take care of him.
Okay, good. I think he thinks I'm mad at him or feel badly about him, but I don't. So if he says anything, make sure you tell them the truth about that then.
I will certainly try.
Tell him I told you. Maybe he'll believe that.
Okay. Do you want a dream that involves him then?
Well, I was going to do a bad one, and I'd prefer he not be in it. Though
You
I
can
guess
do a bad one. I recommend the second door.
okay. Any uh any uh anything you can say to tell me what to expect in any capacity?
It is up to you, but the second door will have rain in it. You opened the third yesterday. You still have the first and the second. Perhaps you want to do the first and get it out of the way.
That one the worst or the best?
It is the worst of the bad. Or you could see rain, if you choose the second one.
Well, won't it be seeing him in a bad way?
Perhaps. Although I think there is no bad way to ever see my brother.
Well, he was in my dream last night, or bad dream. And he was very comforting in that, so. But I don't know if I want to see him in pain tonight, so just in case, I might not choose that one. Is he in the first one?
No.
That one's the worst.
Yes.
Okay.
Which door?
The first.
Okay.
It was nice seeing you.
You will see me again in just a moment.
Are you okay in this dream?
No.
This memory?
Far from it.
Okay, well maybe then I'll grow some insight about you and everything you've been through.
I will let you open the door. Has to be you after all.
Okay. Okay. I don't know why I'm doing this to
you so much.
myself.
I believe in you. We love you.
I just feel like if I get this, I can move. I can work up. I can work up.
Dude, you're going from worst to worst.
You've seen the worst.
Who knows what's gonna be in there? Who knows?
Okay, I gotta go.
Calypso organizing your memories? Who knows?
I know. I fucking know. Man, a good dream would be so
I'm
swell right
so
now.
curious to see what her worst is. I love this.
Okay. They say he's in his bad dream era. He can't go back to his good dream era. Okay.
I mean, you could go back and forth. But I respect your one decision.
Oh, wouldn't it be fun to just talk to Kai tonight? Wouldn't that just be
That's
fun?
why the second you showed your phone, I was like, you can just see Kai, a happy Kai.
That sounds so nice. The good ones are interactive, but the bad ones haven't been so far. If this one's interactive, I'm gonna lose my shit.
The rain
Okay,
one,
I'm gonna
the
go.
rain one is.
I'm not gonna do that one right now. Not tonight. Not tonight. I would be gone. No.
Real.
I have to prepare for that episode. Okay.
Fair.
And I will for next time. But for tonight.
You're good.
Ooh. Okay. Arlo, he slowly walks. I mean, he is fucking white as a ghost, like stiff as hell, just walking over, wishing that he could just hug Calypso so he could see his sister for one moment before he goes in, but he can't because he doesn't want to take advantage of what's going on because he knows it will just fucking blow up in his face. Because he had that fucking excuse of being like, I didn't know that would happen, but now he will, and now
he
it's
doesn't.
like,
yeah. And she said the whole thing of like, don't do it again, kind of thing.
Yeah. Because I was also thinking of like other things he could do to bring her forward, but it would still be obvious that's what was happening, and
so
then
fair.
he would lose her trust completely.
That's so fair. You big
and he
wig.
wants to be close to Iduna, so
Yeah.
okay. He puts his hand on the handle and then like looks back at her, looking for something he's not gonna fucking find in her face.
She's looking at you, and she has that kind of void on her face, like that like blankness, that emotional blankness. But there is something like glossy in her eyes when she looks at you. Something pained. As she waits and just watches you kind of like go towards the door.
Okay. See you tomorrow night then. And then he like fucking opens the door so slowly, and the fucking handle's so cold under his stupid ass little webby hands. And and he goes through.
You get that like bright white light that kind of flashes over your eyes again for a moment before you are opening them, and you are in paradise. And it is beautiful. It is glorious paradise. And the stream is trickling by, and your feet sit within it, and the water cools your toes and soothes your mind as you take in the scene. And it is quite a scene before you. Nell and Hawks are smiling. They're laughing at something the other said, before Hawks bends to encircle Idona's grave with flowers, just as Nell summons a few golden bunnies and deer, of which lay beside Idona's tree, soft and graceful. Morga is standing beside you, watching the sky, eyes attuned, as the sun rays cascade down onto where Idona is buried, the streams of light bending and curving, and small rainbows flickering over the green grass, painting the scene in a beautiful array of colors and warmth. Cal even stands off to the side, his white wings outstretched, and he watches with a faint, barely there smile across his face, alighting his golden eyes. Everyone has a melancholy twinge to their features, but other than that, they seem to be in celebration of something. And you stand, Arlo, in front of all of it, watching, holding your breath, as though waiting for something to go wrong. And you feel still yourself. You don't feel as though you're playing pantomime. You feel as though you're watching this from an outside perspective. As though you know you were there in that moment, but it's not playing out as though you are there. And aside from Idona's grave and the lack of Kai, there is nothing distinctly bad happening before your eyes. Your siblings simply gather around the space, decorating Idona's resting place in beauty and love. But in a moment, you feel Calypso's presence at your side, light and small, and she stares at the scene from beside you before you hear her very softly say, "They are celebrating her birthday." Yep. Yep.
Right.
Accuracy.
Understood.
It knows
Good
what you're
catch.
feeling. It knows
It's
what
speaking
you're
to
truly
me?
feeling. It knows.
Yeah. Calypso, so glad to see you. It's fucking thumbs down, then goes up.
Yeah,
she's
she
speaking
says,
to me.
Yeah, she says very softly at your side, and it's like the same Calypso you just saw a moment ago. She's
Uh-huh.
standing beside you, like right next to you, and she's overlooking the scene with you, and she just very softly says, "They are celebrating her birthday."
Figured it was something like that.
And you watch Calypso's like dark red eyes just like tracing over the scene, like taking it all in carefully.
How do you feel?
When you all celebrated her birthday, I had already been put in my cage, lost to the world, forgotten. Nobody mourned me this way. Nobody celebrated my birthday. I'm not sure anyone even knows it anymore.
This is bringing more insight into you and what you've been through. Can I ask when your birthday is? Or is it too late to ask?
It is too late because I do not remember anymore.
We could pick a day. I don't remember mine. We could both pick a day.
Could we?
Well, we make the rules sometimes, don't we? If this is a game, why not make a rule? We pick our birthdays. Even if they're not true, it's a day to celebrate, regardless.
Will you choose mine?
What is your favorite season?
I like the spring.
How about April 5th?
Why?
Well, it's close to when it starts to rain, and they say April showers bring May flowers, but I always liked the idea of when it first started to rain, because it meant the start of the growth. It was a nice break from all the cold weather. It brought in something new.
April 5th. I like that.
I'll celebrate it every year. It's part of the rule.
Will you?
Well, I live a very long time, so yeah.
Yours is sometime in March, I think.
Oh, so they're close to each other.
That is why I liked April 5th.
Well, that's nice then. Spring is a good season.
This is the worst of your memories, because I am forgotten. I do not want to be forgotten again, 𝐼𝐿𝐿. So
Of course
please
not.
do not forget me.
I won't. Hey, it was nice making a role with you for once. Kind of feel like I'm part of the game a little bit. I mean, I've always been part of the game, but it's kind of a new position in it.
Perhaps we can make more rules together.
Yeah. Yeah, and now we have birthdays, so that's pretty cool.
What day would you like yours to be on?
It's only fair that you pick, right?
She smiles. She's like, perhaps I should ask Kai.
You guys can pick together.
You are twins, after all.
That's fair. So he can be included. It's kind of like a package deal situation.
He should always be included.
I agree. He's always included up here. I think of him always.
And you will think of me now, in April.
Mm-hmm. I already think about you a lot now that I'm getting to know you. I mean, I know I've known you, but new 𝐼𝐿𝐿.
You can always get to know me. Ask me any question and I will answer.
Nothing's coming to mind right now, but I'll think over that.
Okay.
What's your favorite color? Do I know that yet?
I like red. It's the color of a rose.
Makes sense. And now I know you like spring. So that's something. And I have to assume your favorite smell is the smell of roses, maybe? Or is it something else?
Yes. And I think petrichor.
Very elegant taste. I like that.
Makes me think of my brother, and I miss my brother. But soon you will free me from my cage and I will be able to hug him once more.
That's the plan.
The way that it should be. The way that you did so.
Yeah. It was nice.
I
was
may not
gonna...
understand it, but I like it.
Well, I think that's kind of the thing is, there's no one definition. If you like it, then you start to understand what it means to you, personally, particularly.
I am understanding. Aria wanted to hug me once and I did not let her. Why did I not let her? I should have let her.
Sometimes it takes time to warm up to things. It takes time to understand what it is you want, to not be scared. I don't know if you were, but whatever it is, sometimes it just takes time.
I will remember that then.
Things can always change, and sometimes they change for the best.
Like my birthday.
Like your birthday.
You've done the hardest part now, 𝐼𝐿𝐿. You opened the first door.
You proud of me?
Tomorrow night, yes?
Yes. Yeah.
Good night then.
Good night, Calypso.
And she turns and she heads back towards the keyhorn door. And you see her kind of like hold the handle, like opens it. And she kind of like glances over her shoulder at you once more, like looks at you, and then continues on. Just like did a little double take before she walks back through. And as she closes the door behind her, your entire vision goes to black once more.
Cool.
See, that wasn't so bad, was it?
Did I do something stupid? Did I do something stupid?
No, you said something fucking insane. Guess what Arya's birthday is?
Theo, you
Is it
did
April
this.
5th?
It's
Are you
April
serious?
fucking 5th, Theodore.
You did this, Theo.
It is April fucking 5th because you know
I'm pretty sure
we
we've never even
we
mentioned
started
that.
talking about spring, and I was like, oh, that's funny because that's why Arya loves her.
I
birthday
remember
too.
that now.
And I was like, I'm gonna go look and see what day it is because
Yeah,
I'm just curious.
I remember you saying
My
that
hand
now.
is shaking.
I know, that's why I was shaking.
Your
I was
hands
like,
were shaking.
Oh, I picked a day she's gonna be pissed about because it's gonna be Arya's day.
Well, maybe she'll be happy
Or
because
maybe
she likes
she's
Arya.
sorry.
Change her birthday.
it was so fucking. I was like, I
That's
was
so
so,
good.
like, I was like, I feel like it's. I know it's an.
What are
April
the odds?
Fool's Day,
Oh,
was it?
I pulled that out of my ass because I was thinking, I was
That's
thinking
so
something
good.
great, and I was like, well, I'm gonna- oh my god.
That's
Because I
so
had the
good.
idea of picking
Yo.
a time in the year, like in
That was
spring, that
insane.
right. Okay, yeah. No,
That's
that
so
was crazy.
good. That's so
That's
good.
I almost said the third. And then I
Oh,
chose the
that
fifth
would've
because
I'm
The
so
number.
glad you did the
I
fifth.
should have
Wow.
picked 3. I should have picked 3.
Hurry,
Okay,
make
fine.
it 333.
No,
No,
but
no,
this
no,
is
no,
so
no, leave
good.
it,
This
leave
is
it.
so
Could you
good.
Also, can you imagine if it was
Can you
March
believe
3rd?
that?
337?
365 days out of the year, and you picked the one day that
Arya's
is Arya's birthday.
Holy shit.
1 in
What do we do?
365
Is she gonna be
chance.
upset?
No, Arya is not going to be
No.
upset. She's just going to. It's just
No,
the-
Calypso. Arya's the
Calypso
best.
is gonna be fine.
Calypso would not be
Calypso would be
upset. I think
I
she'd
think she'll be
honestly
fine.
be like,
I think she'd be happy. You'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, we share a thing. We'll bond over it
I
now.
saw you
Mhm.
freaking out, and I was like, did I just do something really
You did something insane,
You
but
said
not wrong.
something
so good.
Oh, that's
I'm so happy.
I will
Literally,
literally never recover
1
from
in
that.
365
Can I talk
chance
about how
of you
one of the
doing
most
that.
devastating
You did
things
it.
in the world to me is that she doesn't remember her birthday? Thanks.
Yeah, that's
Anyways.
fucking devastating. That was
Yeah.
really when she said
It
that
is,
because I was like,
to be
let me
fair.
know what it is, and
That's
she
the
was like, I
worst
don't
day
know,
to
and I was like,
I'm so glad you asked because I had it in my notes. I was like, if you ask, like she just doesn't know, and I was like, I so hope Arlo asks. I was like, he will, he would,
He
Like,
would.
he would ask because he's thoughtful like that. He would ask.
Yeah.
First thing.
I love that she went along with the fucking birthday rule thing. That was so cute.
I know.
She's like,
I guess
okay.
she wants to make more rules.
Ah,
I'm such a
kinda
sucker for
promising.
Calypso.
I know
I'm
you
such
are.
a sucker.
Dude, her like
Arlo, Arlo
rehabilitation
is
into
like,
society
yeah,
is going
she's
really
bad
well
and
with
evil,
like
but also
Arlo.
she's my little sister if you think about it. And also, what if I love Calypso too?
I
your
know.
earlier line of Raid and I share a sister drove me insane.
Oh,
drove me
that's-
off the edge.
Never forget.
I've
And the whole
That's why
line
he treats
of-
you like that.
Oh God, I'm trying to remember what it
Little
is now.
sister
but
now.
You're so good.
So good.
Anyway,
I mean, she deserves maybe
shutting
a
up,
chance.
shutting up. This is amazing.
Arya's birthday. I fucking
That's
can't.
crazy.
Of all the days, you chose
You know,
Arya's
I
birthday.
have to go back and look at my reaction because I was
Oh,
like,
it was
did
cute.
too.
I was
I
so
saw your
nervous.
face and I was like, wait,
I
I
didn't see
thought
it
it was
at
gonna be
all.
like natural.
I
didn't see the
literally felt like
reaction.
shock through my body. Like that was insane.
I
And
would
you're like,
too. Are you
"Yeah,
kidding?
that was
Such a sad,
That's so
fucking
good.
bad memory.
It
I
is.
had a feeling it was gonna be something like that, but that was
It's
even
attached to
sadder.
her. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wasn't ready for the
she's
rain
one.
one.
She's the one organizing, so she's like, this is the worst.
Yeah,
Like they're all celebrating, and I'm just gone. I'm forgotten.
that
Nobody
makes.
even
Because I'm
cares.
trying to think because we've had that one is the worst, and then the other one was them sending Kai away.
But she
Yeah.
is with her brother
I got
somehow.
Rage
That's
Aria.
one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Sending
Yeah,
Kai
wait,
away,
yeah,
which
yeah,
was
so much
worse
more.
for her because
Wait,
it was what happened to
Are her
her.
ears
Yeah.
I
Are
don't
her
know
ears
if Arlo
pointy?
was around when they
Yes,
sent her
kind of.
away.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, a little bit.
Like
little.
if he like
Cool.
would,
What the memory
She's
with
got
Rain
so
would
much
be.
in her.
yeah, what it would
Girl's got
be.
a little too.
I just
And
think
then
they're
there's
gonna be
another one
so
with Rain.
weird.
Mhm.
It had to be one with Rain where am I like rejecting Rain or
This
something?
was not a bad memory. This was not a bad. Well, I mean, it was a little sad, but it was
Not
not
for
bad.
Arlo.
Rain.
Yeah.
It was definitely not #1 worst,
But it is to
For
her.
Arlo. Yeah.
which
Because
did tell you a lot about her.
everybody just
had a
forgets
feeling.
about her. That's like the first year that she was just forgotten.
Calypso's like, to you. To
To
you.
you. To you. Yeah, she was to think that like this was the family that you kind of considered like
We're
an
raised
addition
with.
and that you were raised with and you were around, and
Everything was
Sure.
there's no way to mourn Calypso. There's no body, there's no grave, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And there's not
Yeah.
even a portrait in the capital anymore to mourn her with.
Yeah, there was
Like,
nothing.
every
That's
trace
so
of her
crazy.
is gone, and
Right.
no one even asked. No one's even
Just
asked.
a little messed up.
I love
Absolutely.
talking to her a little bit. I love talking to her
What's up,
a
Ben?
little bit.
Now you know what
Where
I
is
was
Ben?
on. Now you're on my shit, Theo. Now
Yeah,
you're
I'm
on
on your
my
shit.
I
I'm on
feel
your
it.
shit.
It's good.
I wanted her also to
You
say
were so
that
good at it.
she
No,
doesn't
it
understand.
feels so good. You're
I
so good
wanted
at it.
her to
Shut
say that she doesn't understand why she didn't hug Arya, because she like wants to now. Like now
Yeah.
she wants to. She's like,
And I want her to.
Which is crazy though, because like I feel like Arlo is getting to her in a way that like nobody else has before.
Yeah,
and
I
like
agree. I agree.
she was not like this.
Oh,
Like,
no,
in
not
Arya's
anyway.
season,
she was
so-
detached, immensely
Yeah.
detached.
Mm.
I think it's
Like,
also because
this is
Arlo
just a
was
way
her
to keep her-
family. Like in a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
ways, Arlo was her
Yeah.
older brother
She was
as well.
raised with him. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh my god,
she never grew
yo.
So
That
I'm
was
diving
crazy.
into Andromeda. Obviously, Theo stays.
Let's go,
as you
Andromeda!
can.
I'm gonna eat my bedtime cereal while you.
What's your
so-
As you
bedtime cereal?
feel.
I might not have my
I'm
camera
curious
on,
about-
but
That's
you know
totally
what
fine, that's
I'm
fine.
curious about?
What?
What?
That he
What are you curious
fucking
about?
whispered in your ear, Andromeda. Is that what happened?
Yeah, what instructions? Because you didn't really do anything.
no, we don't know. We don't know a thing. We don't know. Don't even expect to know one thing.
I'm
we
shutting
don't.
up. Shutting up. We're
Yeah,
starting.
I'm
Let's
just
go.
saying I'm curious about the things that we don't know, and I accept that we know nothing.
Andromeda.
Hey, girl.
Mm.
Hey, girl.
I would like to know, because this kind of starts with you, what you do, and how what you do as soon as you're back at the ship and to like get ready for bed and everything, as you notice your like friends kind of getting cozy and going to sleep.
Yeah. She's very much in this kind of like complete like almost like a fugue state.
Yeah,
It's like a dissociative state
Yeah.
of mind where she's not like being like, oh, I'm the victim, I'm like not anything like that.
Yeah.
It's like she's very much like everything is just turned off and she's just damp.
Because it's just so
And-
much.
It's
Yeah.
a lot. It's a lot. And she's like blood stained, she's like damp, like soaked to the bone, and then it's just those like residual blood stains like of her like
Yeah.
handprint in her dress. And her bandages are soaked.
Yeah.
Like she needs to change those eventually. And then all of her friends just scattered to the wind, and she doesn't even look like hurt by that.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
kind of like she expected it. Like it was
Yeah.
just like this is the next flow of movement into that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
She does look to Alder though to see what he does. Like her head just raises up and she just like
He just kind of like as soon as you get back on the ship, kind of like almost shadows you in a way. Like he doesn't really know where to go or what to do. Like he doesn't know what to feel. He's confused because he doesn't know a ton about Tobias. He doesn't know too much about Tobias and Rain's relationship. He just knows that Rain isn't fond of him from time to time. And so he kind of just like hovers a bit. And I imagine kind of like keeps on like looking at you, almost as though he wants to say something, but he doesn't know what to say. Yeah.
yeah. She just like looks at him and just says with no emotion in her voice, and she's like, "You can go too if you want."
No, there's nowhere I need to be. Except for at your side, helping you. So that's where I am.
I thought I was doing the right thing. I knew they wouldn't understand and they don't like him.
Who's to say, Sprout? I don't think there is one right thing. There's so many different things, and they are so gray.
So great.
Yeah.
When we went out to the grove for the first time, out of the grove into the swamp, everything was so bright.
Yeah.
So bright.
So was our home. It just looked dull to us.
I felt everything out there. He asked something of me this morning.
Okay.
When I got his body back, he whispered to me that he needed me to bring you and wait for everyone to go to sleep, and then call him. I don't know what he's gonna do.
Well, I mean, he can't do anything. He doesn't have his body. He's wet, just a lost soul right now.
He's in a blood vial in my bag.
Creepy.
I mixed my blood with his.
Even worse.
I'm bound to him, like doubly so. What is wrong with me?
Nothing's wrong with you. You're just trying to find yourself. We're all trying to figure out who we are. I'm still trying to figure out who I am. I'm Andromeda. I can be as hypocritical as I want to be, I guess, because what's any better about what I did? What's any better? I made a deal with a guy I barely knew because I felt bound to him. Because I fell in love with him. I what's any different? You did the same thing. And I don't know much about Tobias. I don't know who he is at his core. I don't. But I trust you.
I swear there is something good in there. I swear I saw it. You have to believe me. I saw something good.
I believe you, Andromeda. But at the same time, I think everyone has something good in them. It just depends on how often it sees the light, and I don't... Maybe you see it more than anyone else, and maybe that's something to be considered.
What do you think I should do tonight?
I don't know. I'm with you. Whatever you choose. Whatever this spells for me. I mean, who knows why he wants me? It's kind of creepy, but I mean, can it be worse than being stabbed through the heart with a root by the guy I fell in love with? I don't know.
Do you think he's gonna use you to access Rain? Call him?
Rain's not gonna come.
What if this time he does?
He won't. If he didn't come the first time I called him yesterday, then he won't come again.
Maybe I should just go myself and then just ask him what his intentions are. Tell him I have his body and then ask him what he plans to do.
Sprout, if you're gonna do any creepy rituals with any creepy guys, you're gonna take me with you this time. I don't care. You're not doing it alone. You gotta learn from this one, Sprout, and not do it alone anymore.
Okay. And he can't make us do anything. And if he does, we'll be like, well, you need to pump the brakes, and we will come to this another day.
Yeah.
We have his body. You know?
Yeah. I'm trusting you on this one, okay?
I have a bad feeling in the pit of my stomach.
Okay, well, I don't know what to do with that information because I'm trusting you on this one.
Okay.
I know how your heart works, Sprout, okay? And I know that you just want for everyone.
Perhaps too much at times.
Maybe. Who cares?
Well, let's go see what he wants.
Yeah, okay. Right behind you.
Okay.
He's gonna like start walking.
He just like nods slowly. He's like, okay. And he follows behind you. Oh, asking your brother for advice. Are you doing okay?
He wasn't just gonna tag him blind. I'm so fucking scared right now. So scared.
That is so fair.
This does not bode well, fellas.
Nervy.
What?
Doesn't bode well. You're doing it. You're doing it. You have the choice not to do it, and you're doing it.
But
Doesn't bode well.
it's
If it doesn't bode well,
juicy.
But it's fine.
Yeah.
you see.
And I commend you for that, Haley, for real.
Oh
it's-
no.
It is fun. It is fun. Okay?
Yeah.
It's fun to fuck around and find out.
She's
And we're gonna find
actually,
out.
you know what? She is going to
You guys heard the saying, curiosity killed the cat, right? I mean, I'm curious, but I'm not gonna die for it.
I also like tell me if I'm wrong also with like analyzing this, but I feel like she's almost in this headspace of like might as go all the way, right? Because
Fuck it, might as well.
because it's at this point where it's
Close
like
to the wall time, I guess,
yeah,
right?
because it's like at this point where it's like, well, she still
Throw
has
the brother in as well.
that
It's
little bit of
fine,
faith
It's fine.
in Tobias that like she had that she was trying to explain to her friends of like the faith that she has, and it's like that's still there, that's still
I
present.
hope she's right. I hope you're right.
She is gonna actually turn to. I assume they're gonna go to the little closet. That was
Yeah, either that or I was gonna say one of the private rooms too, because they're
Yeah,
like,
a little bit more space.
spacious. Yeah.
So it's not two dryads in a closet with a big fucking blood form
Yep.
and a body.
Yep.
You know, no space for that.
Yep.
She would turn to him before they get through the door.
Okay.
And he's going to say, I know you want to be there for me. Wait outside first.
Okay.
Don't come in until I say.
Okay.
All good?
Mm-hmm. Oh, we should have a code word or something. Don't you have a code word with Arlo? What is it, like shoes?
Shoes.
Okay, yeah, shoes really loud if you need me then. Okay.
Oh, yeah, shoes really loudly.
Yeah, cool.
Ooh, what about swamp siren?
I like those.
But they're dangerous.
No, they're cool.
Okay, I'll yell shoes. I'm just gonna walk
through and shut the door.
He doesn't like shoes. He's like, I don't like those.
He's a dogs out believer as well.
All right. Okay. All right. I hope Theo's hanging in there with his cereal. So
He
Each
is. He's
cereal
actually scared.
boy.
is what he's
I'm
doing.
actually scared. So as you walk into the room and close the door, Alder stays at the door and just kind of like
Later, I'm sorry.
he's like
Shut
gritting his teeth. He's like, as you like close the door kind of in his face, he's just like,
It's just like, it's okay.
He like
"It's
closes the
fine."
door.
Hi Dio, you're back. Awesome, just in time. What do you do when you walk in, Andromeda? And it is quite a little bit of a spacious room. There's like the little bed and it's like the size of this room maybe.
So like a little nightstand or like a chest or something, or
Yes, there's a little nightstand by the bed, by the cot.
She's gonna walk over and place it on the nightstand and say Tobias and like uncork it and step back.
You say his name into the vial, and kind of feel it burning in your hand as you remove the little cork and put it down. But when you do, the blood doesn't leak out in rivulets, nor tendrils, or anything of deep maroon. There is no blood that spills from it. It simply sits there in the vial, bubbling slightly before kind of moving to something still. It doesn't move at all anymore. And a moment passes, then another. And you can imagine Alder can kind of hear him pacing a little bit outside the door, the creak of the wood under his feet. And it is silent. It is still in the room, and it is eerie as the creaking of the boat kind of sways and rocks back and forth. And a moment of silence passes before, all of a sudden, in a flash of a second, a portal appears in the room.
Oh no.
And it is loud and whirring and bright white, and it swirls in its oval door-like shape before you see the tall, looming form of Rain step out into the light. However, rather than simply exiting with grace and poise, he seems to be struggling. There's a dagger that's been stabbed through his chest, deep and stuck in place, and held there by his own hand. Consistently being held there by his own hand, and he seems to be fighting it with his kind of like moving his legs, moving his body the best he can, but his body just continues to move of its own accord. And as soon as his eyes lift and he steps through the portal, you see that they are a bright blue, and they fixate on you for a moment, Andromeda, before you see kind of a little flash of pink as panic kind of passes over them. And he tries to pull at that dagger, but flails and misses and just cannot get it out. And the eyes flash blue again. And the dagger plunges again, harder, into his chest. And he stumbles more and further into the room, and his features are twisted into something kind of frantic that doesn't really meet the eyes. And the portal closes behind him. Before you see the hand kind of remove the dagger for a moment before it plunges deeper. And it even turns for a moment, and it twists it in place, kind of pinning it there. And you see this like pain kind of in the curve of Rain's mouth as he like kind of hunches a moment. But it once again does not meet his eyes. And the eyes then lift to you, Andromeda, before the entire expression, Rain's entire expression, and he's in his true form. He's in this tall 7-foot form, hunched over with the hand on the dagger. And his face turns to you and instantly just drops until there's just a wicked smirk that like pulls across it, and the bright blue eyes kind of flash a moment. And you see sorry, I'm taking this one step at a time. They kind of flicker to you, to the door, and then back to you. And you hear this like kind of like gritted teeth. You just hear him very softly say, where is Alder?
She's like, it's like stumbling on her feet. She's
Sure.
Like, what are you doing?
And he smiles and he looks at you and he's like, Shrub, where is your brother?
Stop.
Oh, I will not stop until you bring your brother into this room.
What are you gonna do to him?
I'm not going to touch Alder. And he like pulls the knife kind of back out, puts it back in again. It's almost like a fight as he like puts it back in.
And she like raises her hands up as like, hey, little grabby hands again.
Yeah.
To like
he fixes you with a stern look and he's like, do not fuck this up now. We have come this far. Where is your brother?
Lily Grove.
He looks at you, he's like, look into my eyes, truly. Do you think I'm going to hurt precious Alder? I don't give a fuck what happens to Alder. I will not touch him. Get your brother in the room. He continues to just look at you.
Like walks towards the door.
You see him roll his eyes for a moment before another hand like reaches and grabs for another dagger. And
he like goes and
he's just holding two. He's literally holding two, just like, and Alder fucking darts in the room, takes in the sight, and he's just like he doesn't even have words. He's just staring at the scene. He's like, he just very like kind of a broken voice, just very softly says like, Rain. As he like looks at Rain, kind of just standing there hunched over the two daggers through his chest. And you see those blue eyes flicker to Alder before he very just like kind of earnestly says, now would be a great time to exhume a soul, don't you think? And he looks at Alder very carefully. He's like, I know you can do it. I've seen you. He like twists the knife again. And Alder just looks at you. Like, panic in his face. And he's like... He looks back at you again. He's like... What do... He's like... What do I do, Sprout? What do I do?
She's gonna, like, look to Rain Tobias. Rain Bias.
Tobias just looks at you. And the blue eyes kind of fixate on you. And one, like, flashes pink for a second, kind of, like, twitches, but he closes his eyes, and they're blue again. And Alder looks at you, Andromeda, and he's just like... And he just instantly steps forward. And your brother just starts moving. Like, before you can even say anything. And you see him step into Rain's space. And... he kind of meets those bright blue eyes before he very slowly, with like a shaking hand, like places it against Rain's sternum. And he is like staring in Rain's eyes, even though they aren't Rain's eyes, but he's staring into them as though like all this adoration and love is on his face as he does so. He places his hand there, and you see blue light beginning to kind of seep through his fingers and out of the cloth. And you watch it pull out of like Rain's chest, and you see him wince as his eyes kind of flash from blue to pink and back again. And the cyan light kind of spills from beneath the blouse that he wears and out into the air before him, hovering over his torso, and now hovering over Alder's hand. And Alder's hand shakes. Unpracticed, but talented nonetheless. And you watch him hold it for a moment, just looking at it. And he like looks up, and he looks at you for a moment, Andromeda, and then his eyes catch on the flask, and he's like, Andromeda. He like puts another hand, he's like holding it, he's like,
Andromeda looks like she's gonna throw up.
Yeah, fair. And there's still like a light tendril kind of connected to like Tobias or Rain in this moment, or Rain but Tobias in this moment, and his eyes dart to you, Andromeda, and he's like, the body, Shrub. You did so good. Please. And you see his eyes, like, they, like, dip for a moment in something more, like, desperate.
She latches onto that.
Fair.
At first she was like, no, and then she sees that, and she's like...
And Alder's hand is shaking. He is holding his hand. He's like, Andromeda.
She grabs the flask out. Pops it open.
Tobias watches.
Tobias, come out.
Sniffs.
As you do, the ash spills out of the flask, and I'm so shaky. I'm having a great time. The ash kind of, huh?
Sorry, I had a question.
Say again. Go ahead.
In my bag, do I still have a portal ball? I think I had. No,
because I think Arya has the only one.
Okay. I had the only one, and it's with Captain.
Because it's the reusable
That's
one.
the only one that we had left. That's why we needed to reuse it, because it was our last portal
You
wall that we had.
used it.
Yes.
Was that?
I'm absolutely sure
Yeah.
because we only had the materials to make. I think it was 2, and then we had an extra one.
You made
we
3,
had an extra,
but you used 2.
3, but we used 2.
Yeah.
Okay,
Mhm.
and then we had the extra materials for another one, but we just didn't have the red specter heart, so we couldn't make another one.
That's what it was, yeah.
And the last one is with Captain Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And you kind of see for a moment, you see the ash spill out of the iron flask, and it crawls out and kind of onto the floor in tendrils, very much like the blood. But oh, Haley, I'm holding you gently in my hands.
Yep.
It spills out much like the tendrils of blood always did when you opened that vial, and it forms that figure and kind of just like lays him on the cot. Like the ash kind of moves to lay him on the cot before it dissipates, and the iron flask just kind of falls empty, and that red glow like vanishes from it. And you watch as Alder like looks at you and then instantly just like moves towards the body and pushes. And you watch as blue tendrils descend towards the body that lies on the cot, guided by Alder's practiced hand, still shaking. And he watches it surely just as intently as you do. The cyan light kind of reflected and glossy in his bronze eyes. And the magic climbs forwards until it lands atop the body and seeps into the tattered and still damp clothing, and it melts into it and paints it aglow with blue light, and layers of it sparkle like diamonds beneath flesh and fabric. And it spirals forwards, encircling every inch of the being before you until it moves directly towards the sternum, splitting and slinking away as soon as it hovers above the heart. And the body begins to glow a moment, skin alight with cerulean hues, before it flutters away, fading out like a dying firefly, and then it is silent. And you see Rain standing kind of close to Alder now, as he just kind of like pulls the dagger from his chest and kind of crumples, kind of like using the nightstand to hold himself up, frowning down at the ground. And there's just no expression on his face. He is staring at the floorboards, unmoving. Whether it's in shock, whether it's just the stoicness of the moment, he does not make a face, he does not make a movement. He sits there, and his eyes are back to that pink glow. And Alder quickly draws his hand back and takes a step away from the being that is laid out before him, only to turn and look at you a moment, Andromeda. And something unclear kind of passes over his expression before it fades, and he instead moves to sprint towards Rain. And his own trembling form kind of kneels down in front of Rain and is kind of just looking him over. There is a hand pressing to his chest, and there's a hand on his cheek, and he's just looking at him, looking him over desperately. And the room is quiet and still for just a fraction of a second, with this suspense and tension. And where Alder's eyes are attuned to Rain, and only Rain, Rains have moved to fixate on the body that lies on the cot, wide and utterly eerily still. But in a moment, you hear what sounds to be a gasping of air, a sharp intake of breath, and a deep and steady intake of breath before you see at least the eye that shows, the eye that is not beneath the cloth, as it opens. And you see what should be the whites of his eyes are a dark black, and his pupil glows bright red as he winks. And I will send you the reference without the little black line on it.
Sexy as fuck. Sexy as hell.
Everyone freaking out. Haley's over here. Sexy as
Hot.
fuck. Sexy
Hot.
as fuck.
Face card. Never decline.
All right, let me send this so now you can see the proper image. Not to break the immersion for a moment, but I want you to know what this man is looking like. How we doing?
Oh, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Me and the devil. Wah, walking side by side.
Me and the
Wah.
devil. All right, here you go. It is in the references chat now.
Damn. Damn. Absolutely. Actually, ooh, yeah.
You watch as Tobias begins to move.
She's moving towards him immediately.
And he is beginning to sit up, and he is pushing himself up where he lays, and his eyes are taking in the room, taking everything in. And you watch with bated breath, no doubt, as he begins to lift his hands, and he lifts slender fingers and pale palms up to his eyes, before you kind of see him staring at them intently. And there's this look on his face that you've never seen on his face before, and it is even on his old face, to put it that way. And it's a look that reads of awe and amazement and something like pure disbelief as you watch the corner of his lips kind of quirk upward a fraction. And seemingly unknown to him, you even begin to see his eyes welling, glossy and shimmering a moment, as you watch him flex his fingers and unflex, watching how his hand works before him, muscles moving. And his vision darts from his palms to his legs to his chest. And it seems as though he's taking it all in. And he bends his knees a moment as he sits upward. And he watches all the while as his body begins to climb to a standing position, kind of stepping off and onto the floorboards, and they creak beneath his shoes, beneath boots. And he stands very steadily, kind of wobbly for a moment, but very easily standing to full attention, to full height. And his sight kind of remains on his very being before it lifts and looks as though he's taking in the scene around him. And they flicker from his surroundings to Rain and Alder, who are hunched together a little ways away on the floor, and then back to you, Andromeda. And there's a deep recognition that flutters over his features as he stares intently your way. And surely, Andromeda, there is something surreal in seeing mannerisms and features of the being you always knew to be Tobias, only further enhanced, because this isn't a projection anymore, nor an amalgamation of blood. This is Tobias in the flesh, the one and only. And he looks like a stranger in many ways, but as he moves, and as you look into the depths of his eye, more so, he is so very recognizable to you. So very familiar, but in a way that resonates deep in the darker parts of your heart. Restored in his original form, you feel that surplus of power brewing beneath the surface already, causing a shift in the room, and it strobes with life and energy, and it feels similar to how it felt when he first projected into your dormitory. However, significantly more powerful and significantly stronger. And as he watches you, you see a thought cross over his mind as he looks at you, before his brows furrow into a look of pure determination, encouraged by that of a deep rage that is seemingly now smothering his handsome features. And in a moment, he spins on his heel and moves directly towards Rain, where he sits hunched over.
I jump right in front of him.
And Alder moves as well as soon as you both do this. And you hear Alder kind of just like lifting, shaking hands, and you hear him spout out like a very desperate, like, wait, like as he lifts his hands. And as the both of you approach, Tobias moves as though he never even heard a thing. Doesn't even correlate what he hears from you or Alder. Roll 2d6s for me, Andromeda.
Okay. Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I don't go in front of him.
Okay.
I go behind him to
Okay.
the blood bottle.
Okay.
Yeah. And I grab it.
Okay.
Do you still want me to roll?
No, I want to know what you're going to do.
Okay.
Before anything, as he's moving towards Rain, you do see him as Alder kind of moves and shouts out that like little desperate wait. He storms towards Rain with this wrath like no other you've ever seen, and it is so fluid, it's almost human. Or inhuman, I should say. And Alder kind of stands, immediately goes to block him from Rain, but Tobias just simply, unfazed, moves his hand and this purple glow of magic kind of bursts from his fingers and moves towards your brother. And a heavy weight of lilac force shudders out from his hand and towards Alder, and it sends him flying aside, his body moving of its own accord and sending him out of Tobias's way. And it's with ease and aggression that he does so, but Alder just simply lands with a very solid thunk and a groan, and he kind of moves a fraction, stiff and sore and clearly winded. But it's not enough force to hurt him. It's not enough force to, deeply wound him. It's just to get him out of the way. Mm-hmm. And lavender embers kind of fill the space a moment as the magic disperses, and Tobias, not even looking at Alder, moves towards Rain once more. And he's practically looming over him at this point. The height difference kind of makes it easy. What do you do before I continue?
She bolts towards the blood vial.
Okay.
And grabs it with like her full hand around it.
Mm-hmm.
And she jumps up like a little wildcat onto the cot where he was laying. So she's like a little bit taller now.
Mm-hmm.
And she takes it and she like with all of like the will that she has to like call to him through the blood vial. Like just like even if it starts piping hot, like burning hot, and she moves it and puts it towards her chest, like above where her heart is. And she just says, "Wait."
What'd you say?
Wait.
Wait? Okay.
Yeah. She like hisses it out.
You see the hand. He's almost like reaching out to kind of move towards Rain, to grab towards Rain, but he pauses. And you watch his fingers like clench in a fist for a moment before he just like slowly turns to look at you. And there is this kind of eerie smirk on his face as he looks at you, and he smiles and he says, "Oh, you're trying to control me now."
No. I'm calling you.
So different, right, from everyone else that's done so before.
I'm calling you.
Give me a moment to take care of some business, and then we will talk. And he turns back to Rain.
He's gonna raise up the blood vial.
And you see him just kind of like enclose his fingers around Rain's like shirt, and he lifts him for a moment. And he just is like inches kind of away from his face, and he's like looking into Rain's like pink eyes. And for a moment, he almost kind of uses this grip on the shirt to like pull him upward, and he lets go to instead move his hand to grip around Rain's neck. And he holds it there for a moment. And you hear in the quiet of this room, in the smallness of this room, something that sounds disturbingly like porcelain cracking as his hands close harder around it. Something like someone took a hammer to a clay pot. And it's disturbingly audible, and you can see from where you are that a few dainty cracks have sprouted from the force of Tobias's hold. But Rain only seems insubordinate. His face is steady and emotionless and entirely stoic and unswayed by Tobias's actions, and he just stares, dead stare, into Tobias's eyes. And Tobias pulls him upward a fraction, kind of glances over at you for a moment, Andromeda, where you're standing holding the vial.
Like calling him through it, like trying. But like she's just
He
fondling him through the vial.
He glances at you, kind of rolls his eyes a moment, and then looks back at Rain. And he kind of like leans closer, and you see his lips pull up into this snarl, which is without a doubt much more frightening in this new state of appearance. And you hear his voice then sound out as he is talking directly at Rain, directly at his face at least, into his eyes. And while his demeanor reads of this like utter rage and fury, his voice is calm and distant. And he's peering directly into Rain's eyes as he very softly says, "Hello, sweetheart. Just leaving a message for whenever you come back online." And he kind of like pulls Rain a little bit closer, and his grip tightens a moment. But their shared stare never breaks, and he very softly says, I cannot wait to rip you from your cage and watch you shatter in my hands. And his head dips a bit, and he looks more intently at Rain now. And as for you, killing you here, well, that would be too easy, too quick. So I think I'll leave you be, let you crumble away till you're nothing but a shell. Too frail, too pathetic for even Calypso to live in. He kind of pouts. And then he just drops. He, like, lifts his hand away, and Rain kind of falls back against the nightstand, kind of, like, holds himself up on it a moment. And you watch as he kind of, like, moves a hand down and looks at Rain's belt, and then pulls just, like, a little leather sphere wrapped up in something. And he looks at it, and you can tell by the shape of it what exactly it is. And he holds it in his hand for a moment. Kind of gives Rain a once-over before he steps away. And he flexes the fingers that had held Rain. And steps aside to look at you now, Andromeda. Before he slowly begins to walk in your direction. Kind of towards you. So he's fully facing you. Is everyone okay, by the way? I know this is going for a while, and I don't want to... Cool, okay. I'll just continue.
As he starts walking towards her, she's like,
You coming to finish me off? Get out to your end of the deal?
He smiles at you. And as you say this, like, you do see Alder in the background kind of just immediately move to Rain. And he, like, wraps an arm, like, kind of around him, and he's instantly kind of, like, holding Rain upwards. And Rain doesn't really seem to acknowledge Alder, but Alder is acknowledging him in every way possible. He is all over him. And it seems like Tobias has just forgotten about the two of them. He has completely forgotten about the two of them. He, like, is holding this little portal sphere in his hand, and he's looking at you, Andromeda. And he smiles, and he's like, You really think so little of me? I'd do away with you right now in this moment. That's poor taste, really. He smiles at you. He kind of looks you over and he says, look at you, Shrub. Deal complete. No lives, tongues lost. You did it. Do you like what you see? Kind of gives you a once-over again.
You're beautiful.
So it wasn't quite the form I was eager for you to see, but you'll see the other one soon enough, I'm sure. He kind of raises his brows.
holding the blood vial, like, hug your chest.
He just kind of, like, he stretches, and you hear, like, kind of his bones click and clack, and you hear, like, the spines that are kind of on his shoulder, like, click against each other. He just rolls his shoulder and he says, oh, now that I'm returned, our little deal starts, doesn't it? How are you feeling about that? Genuinely.
Deep pause. Deep pause on her end.
Real. Oh my god.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, God. Okay. At least not killing Rain. Random. Just left a message.
The whole group
I need you to stop that right now. All of this, internalize it. Internalize it. I cannot hear this out loud right now.
He's not killing Rain.
He's not killing
She's
Rain.
got a point.
I have let her cook, okay?
I don't want to hear it.
Anyways, he looks over you.
I don't want to hear it.
Are you, like, noticeably hesitating, Andromeda, or, like, taking a pause, like, thinking?
She's just kind of, like, staring at him.
Okay.
Her expression is going from horror to confusion to kind of, like, resolution, like, oh, he's coming to kill me. Oh, he's not coming to kill me.
Yeah.
Confusion a little bit.
The 5 stages of grief all in one moment.
And then analyzing.
Yeah.
She's just looking at him.
How do you feel about it?
Unlike Rain, come our first meeting, I'll make sure your death is quick and clean. No sense prolonging it, after all. It is a shame. That's why I'll get it over quick. Yeah. Not dwell. We don't need to dwell. You are good company, after all.
This is why I keep you around.
Oh, you're a little bit crazy. Did you know that?
Well,
I thought you would blame yourself. I did ask you to be selfish, and you were deeply selfish.
is that it then?
Well, it's not like I want to, but you haven't really given me much choice. I mean, think about it. Think about it, Andromeda. Really, really think. Why would our little proposition enrage me so much? You have that anywhere? Drifting around in your little noggin.
You don't want to be tied down to something anymore.
Perhaps it's the fact that I've spent centuries locked away in the company of a stranger who never once considered my own autonomy, and now you're asking me to do the same yet again for another century. No. I don't think I want to be anyone's prisoner again. Newsflash. You made it very easy when you did not specify how you would meet your end, so simply when you die. Which could be at any time. You could get some sort of horrible rash, pass away 3 days later. I mean, who knows, really? It's unfortunate.
There is a part of the deal you've missed.
Is there?
What do you see when you look at
I said that I would potentially do that for you. I didn't write it into the contract. But if you'd really like to know.
It's no fun if you don't.
He takes a step forward towards you, and he is a presence now. Like, he is a legitimate presence. He is not just something in the room taking up space. He is a presence. He is overwhelming the room, more or less. And he kind of leans into your space. I prepared for this, Andromeda. Don't you?
I know you did.
And he looks at you, and he says, it's a mouthful. Are you ready to hear it?
I have all night.
You
Until
really
the
don't. Oh, well, buckle in, because I see quite a lot when I look at you. You have spent your whole life being told who to be, being shown how to live, being controlled and manipulated to fit the routine and schedule and lifestyle of authority and clan leaders who never even cared about you at all. Not your favorite color, not your love for a good adrenaline rush, not your dire need to never be alone. Obsessive need to never be alone, by the way. They didn't care about any of that. And yet, they bossed you around regardless. They told you how to think and feel and exist. You were a puppet. And then all hell breaks loose. And someone cuts those strings. And you're left with no hand to dictate your every move. You panic, but also you live a little. You meet your walking green flag. You fall in love instantaneously because you're allowed to, because no one told you you couldn't. You so righteously stayed at his side, you fought for him. You made an insanely risky deal just because you thought it could save him, could better his life in the end, yours as well alongside it. He smiles for a second. He looks at you. Maybe you thought you'd marry him. Be betrothed again, and this time to someone you love deeply and irrevocably. But here you stand, and he's gone. Unfortunate. So terribly tragic. And yet I think a deep, dark, wicked part of you is relieved. Because did you love him? Did you really love him? Or did you just give the puppet masters the strings back? Did you let them control you by rebelling against them so desperately you actually fell right into being dictated again? Living a lie of loving someone just because they wouldn't want you to. No, I think you made a deal with me because you couldn't resist the darkness of something out of your control. Well and truly. Because that's what you desire. You desire something completely uncontrollable, untamable, with a mind of its own that you'll never understand, like a bug you don't know the name of, trapped within a jar. And here I am, your little bug, Sprout, as your brother calls you so lovingly. He looks you up and down a moment. Not knowing what I'm going to do next. It's exciting, isn't it? Of course it is. You so desperately want to convince everyone that what you need in the end of all of this is structure, is something consistent and constant and true. Oh, how untrue that is. So deeply untrue. You need chaos. Sheer and utter disorder. And sure, abandonment issues, that's a given considering your life thus far, understandably so. But when it comes to the deal you made with me, it was never about never being alone again. It was about not being with me. You're addicted. You're addicted to the rush of something dangerous and broken. You long for the incomplete and the all-encompassing, and you want to spite your elders by being around me. But perhaps you aren't even spiting your elders at all by being around me. You're forgetting them entirely. And that is the goal of everything, isn't it? To move on. A significant upgrade from forcing yourself to love someone just because he's everything your family frowned upon. Don't you think? How did I do? Spot on. Did I miss something? You can clarify. I'll take any critiques.
Do you like what you see? Just a question for the audience.
You see his face take on this look of just like pure rage for a moment. And what it's directed at, you can't really tell. But he kind of looks at you a moment, shakes his head, and says, I agreed to your little deal, Shrub, of course. You made it so easy to win from the very beginning, the connection between our blood, so your friends couldn't do my lifeless body any harm, not telling anyone about your walking green flag. It sent him packing. Not telling a soul about our little deal sent him packing, and I had him out of my hair, the sword and all. I took this deal because it was the first out. A chance for me to open myself back up to free will. And when you didn't specify that I couldn't kill you, it was a gift. Truly. So why does it matter if I like what I see? I won't be seeing it for very long.
Your opinions matter to me. Your thoughts, your feelings.
Then
Yo.
why couldn't you just ask me to stay?
Would you have done it if I asked you? Would you?
Why couldn't you just ask me in sincerity? Why did I have to be the Tobias who grants deals, anything you want, anything you could possibly want? Why couldn't I be worth more for 1 fucking second than what I have to offer you? Once again, you have resorted me to a tool. You're no better than Calypso, really. In fact, you have a lot in common.
Don't.
It didn't have to be like this. It really didn't. Wasn't lying when I said I enjoyed your company. And now you're making me do something I really, truly never would have dreamed of doing. Your life didn't pose me any threats.
Why didn't you say no?
It was freedom. You asked me what I want more than anything once, and I told you freedom.
And now you have it.
I do.
And it will be that way.
Maybe. But at least I won't be bound by another fucking contract. I would think you'd be relieved. You won't be able to be bound by a contract either. Freedom for us both, really. I get to choose the days after all, so you do have some time. Put your goodbyes in order.
I like you.
I know. That's why you've made this so much worse. We had a good thing going, Andromeda. It might be bold to say even a friendship, perhaps. But then your selfish thought was to trap me. Just once. I thought maybe someone would think of me. Do you remember when I told you, oh, there's several options I can think of right now? Several options that you could choose. First, you asked me not to kill Rain, and then visitation rights. I stupidly hoped, and I will not be making the mistake again, mind, that perhaps, for once in my very long life, someone would think of me for a change.
I asked you what you thought of it. You said you didn't mind it. You liked my company. I just thought it was something for both of us.
Maybe next time. Oh, well, not next time, or whatever comes next in the afterlife. Maybe you could ask if I'd like your company without there being a contract involved. I don't know, just a thought. You could have said to Tobias, when this is all over, you should stop by twice a week for at least 2 hours. Would have been amusing. In fact, it would have been insightful, educational, to have a friend. That's what I get, I suppose. Hope is such a pathetic little thing.
Maybe you should just do it now.
Oh. No. I want you to deal with the consequences first, because this is going to be amusing. No offense.
And take.
Thanks for letting me choose the days, by the way. I'll surprise you. Anywho, he steps back, kind of grabs for the leather, like, little portal sphere, like, pops it open, grabs it out, holds it, looks at you.
Could you not do it on my birthday?
When's that?
May.
It's awesome. Sorry, But I don't want to be in a prison for even a year longer. Do you not understand the correlation there? A
No,
prison is a prison, whether it's 2 weeks or 5 years.
No, I'm just asking not to do it on my birthday.
Oh. Well, that's not going to happen. Clearly. Is that all? Any other requests? Neat. Thank you. You have my gratitude. You really did a stand-up job, truly.
When I saw your face lying there, you asked me if I would run screaming or find you orgasmic. It was neither.
Unfortunate.
Do you want to know what I thought?
This wasn't quite the face I was worried about you seeing. But sure. Please enlighten me.
After talking to my friends, sitting there, doing all this, it was worth it to see your true face, at least once.
You will be seeing it again. In less quaint circumstances, but nonetheless.
See you later.
And you see, like, as he's, like, smirking at you, his eyes kind of, like, once over. And there's, like, something in the way he just kind of, like, swallows for a moment. And it's, like, stiff. Before he turns. And he grabs for the portal sphere.
He raises the blood vial and, like, waves with it.
He looks at you. He's like, a memento of our time together.
Do you feel it still?
I'll see you later.
See you.
He, like, glances at you, glances at Alder and Rain, kind of smirks to himself, and then, like, breaks the little portal sphere on the ground.
He's still waving on the bed.
Immediately just steps through it, and it closes instantly behind him. And you are left in this room with Rain and Alder, hunched over on the ground of this small space. And Alder just looks up at you. And there's just devastation on his features. And that is where we will leave the episode.
Looks at him and then just falls to her knees on the cot and just stares at the ground.
Awesome. Sorry, Theo. I'm glad you were here with us, though. For that.
I think I needed to be.
Oh,
I'm very glad you were here with us.
Oh yeah,
Theo.
I'm
glad you're here with us.
I thought Rain was gonna die and I cried a lot, and then he's
same.
still gonna die, but you know, not just yet.
Not just yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Haley, how are you doing?
You know the silence that all of our characters felt on the boat ride back? That's what I'm feeling currently.
Yeah, I need to go on a boat ride home and then go lay in bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Our
Well,
first
how
time
do
is
we-
party.
That's okay.
Sadie.
Hold on. I need.
Oh, fuck. Careful.
Theo, I love you so much. Thank you.
I'm gonna go,
for-
but that was
Thank you for spending so much of your time with us, for real.
No,
Go to
yeah.
bed, buddy boy.
I'm really glad
that was
you're
an
here for it.
incredible
'Cause
episode.
I'm really glad you're here for it.
You needed to be here for that.
Chat.
I chose to be.
I'm
I
gonna
chose to be.
drop onto the end screen so that Theo can pop off. But we love you guys so much.
Does she know?
Oh,
Does she know?
Wrong.
Was she?
Mwah.
Wrong.
Good night,
The whole
chat.
party just said disproves, disproves, disproves.
Thank you for being
disproves,
here.
disproves,
This was
disproves.
like season
Okay.
finale level, but we got
Yeah.
it's only episode 5, so well.
It's
got one more
only
episode.
episode
Season finale.
5.
Love you, chat. Have a good night.